Tonight, Stephen Miles sworn in as Queensland's 40th Premier.
Council looks to expand the city's Safe Night precinct.
A new treatment for Townsville patients most at risk of stroke.
And the local student who achieved the highest ATAR possible.
This is 7 News with Rob Brough and Emily Steinhardt.
Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good evening.
Stephen Miles has been sworn in as our 40th Premier of Queensland this afternoon in a unanimous Labor Party vote. The former deputy is promising a fresh government and a fresh approach, with the largest frontbench shake-up in almost a decade.
In front of his wife and 3 children, the boy from Brisbane was officially sworn in.
John Miles, I'm pleased to appoint you to be Premier of Queensland.
Cameron Dick will be his right-hand man as Deputy Premier. Both received a standing ovation. Mr Miles had the full support of his Labor caucus, who voted unanimously.
Well, this is a fresher government with a fresh approach.
The 46-year-old, who studied journalism and politics, has his sights set on making a change.
I'm a suburban Queensland dad with 3 kids, and so many Queenslanders are like me.
A slogan he'll be taking to the election.
We are the underdog, and that puts some pressure on our opponents to answer some of the tough questions that they've got away with not answering.
Queenslanders didn't decide Stephen Miles was going to be Premier. There was a dodgy deal done between Stephen Miles and unelected union officials.
It's hoped a team of fresh ministers will deliver for Queensland.
5 new ministers, the most number of fresh faces in a government since we were elected in 2015.
Caitlin Steadman, 7 News.
The city's Safe Night precinct could soon be expanded after a former police officer handed down his recommendations to council. Acting Mayor Anne-Marie Greenie says the community is crying out for better safety measures after more stolen cars were caught being driven dangerously this morning.
3 stolen cars caught on camera cruising in convoy through Townsville's streets.
Stolen car, yeah, 2 of them. 3.
The Ford F-150 was later found dumped in Kerwin after its tyres were spiked by police.
So we are pretty strapped for crews at the moment. Also got about 20 jobs sitting in the queue on resource.
And with officers stretched to the limit, council is stepping in.
It's probably not our core business. The community is really crying out for better safety measures.
A former police officer was brought in earlier this year to assess the safety of Townsville's 10 divisions.
Mr Drew worked very closely with the councillors to ask for their feedback on where they thought the hot spots were in their divisions.
Clint Drew's recommendations have now been made to council.
We've seen suggestions such as where we may be able to place boulders, where there may be black spots in our lighting and our CCTV program.
The Safe Night precinct could also be expanded to take in areas surrounding the stadium.
To take in Dean Park, parts of Palmer Street.
With initial police banning notices, the networked ID scanners that enforce those banning notices, and the handheld scanners, so the wanding under Jack's Law.
Paige Van Lunteren, 7 News.
Lawyers for a man charged over the death of a 22-year-old motorcyclist are expected to apply for a judge-only trial. Gregory Clubb has pleaded not guilty to killing Jennifer Board in 2021. Police allege the 21-year-old was behind the wheel of a stolen car that was being chased by another vehicle along Ross River Road. More than 50 witnesses could be called during the trial, which is set to run for a week. A date is yet to be set.
There were nerves and anticipation as Queensland's recently graduated school students logged online this morning to check their ATAR results. One Townsville Grammar graduate received a 99.5, the highest score possible.
Sachi Hira had to pinch herself when she discovered her flawless score before being immediately embraced by her proud parents.
It was really shock because I didn't expect it at all, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. So yeah, it was utter shock and then happy, but yeah, it took a while.
Oh, wow! We never expected that.
We were very, very excited, and then Mum and Dad were really, really happy as well. We were all, yeah, it was good.
She'll now follow in their footsteps at university.
I've always wanted to do medicine. I haven't really had any other thought of a different career, so yeah, pretty passionate about it.
The grammar graduate was one of 34 students across Queensland to achieve the top score and the only one in Townsville to register a 99.5.
I congratulate them all. So on behalf of the education community in Queensland, well done for getting to this point. The future is all in front of you.
Tentative teenagers from around the state logged online this morning to check their results.
About 27,700 received an ATAR this year. It's about 52% of the cohort, which is consistent with previous years.
And there's an important message for those who had hoped for a higher number than the one they got.
Remember, your ATAR doesn't define your whole life. Certainly don't give up. There's lots of pathway options for them to look at.
Nathan Ferguson, 7 News.
The Mater has become the only hospital north of Rockhampton to offer a potentially life-saving procedure. Frank Cerruti was the first patient to be fitted with a Watchman device, reducing the 72-year-old's risk of suffering a stroke.
Frank Cerruti realised he had an irregular heartbeat at the age of 58.
It was pointed out by an anaesthetist of having a procedure done.
400,000 Australians are affected by the condition, which can increase the chances of a stroke.
The heart doesn't eject the blood on every stroke, and so the blood can pool and it can clot and then end up as travelling to the brain as an embolism.
Frank is now 72 and was taking blood thinners to reduce the risk, but the side effects can be just as dangerous.
High risk for bleeding, so sometimes they bleed from the gut, they bleed in the brain, or they have difficulties producing enough blood.
Now an alternative stroke prevention treatment has arrived at the Mater Hospital.
We have a little plug which we can actually put into the cul-de-sac in the left atrium, and that actually closes off naturally over time.
Frank is the first patient north of Rockhampton to be fitted with the Watchman device.
You're in a familiar environment, you're next to home, you're supported by family.
The procedure takes just under 2 hours and can be fully covered by Medicare. Paige Van Lunteren, 7 News.
A local food pantry is under the pump trying to provide food for people this Christmas. Calls for help have increased dramatically, with member for Herbert Phil Thompson saying it's like a kick in the guts to see so many people suffering.
The Townsville Community Pantry provides free food all year round, but lines lengthen during the festive season.
Our numbers have increased humongously this year. It wasn't so long ago, it was about 170 coming in. Now it's about 350.
The drastic increase of people in need isn't just limited to those unemployed or unable to work. Dual income families too are financially struggling and reaching out for assistance.
In the past it was aged care, people on sickness, disabilities. Now it's all different types of people too. They can't get ahead.
Governments of all persuasions, all colours of shirt really should be acting to ease the cost of living pressures.
Member for Herbert Phil Thompson tried to lift spirits while helping hand out essential items.
It just absolutely kicks me in the guts to know that there's families out there that can't have Christmas and kids are going to be missing out when this should be a time of celebration and love.
Staff at the Mater Hospital are also doing their part, adding a few classic Christmas treats to hampers put together for Vinnies to distribute.
Not baked beans and spaghetti and tin fish, but things that we really look forward to having on our Christmas dinner table each year.
Nathan Ferguson, 7 News.
We'll take a break. Ahead tonight, a new development on the Strand, a step closer to creating hundreds of jobs.
And the trailblazing Indigenous team training as a Qantas pilot. Welcome back to 7 News. A national initiative has been launched calling on Aussies to help keep bottle shop workers safe this Christmas. Crime figures show almost a quarter of all robberies in the country occur at alcohol retail stores.
Destruction, physical violence and armed robberies are among the links some people will go to for a six-pack or bottle of wine.
Retail crime is on the rise. Theft is up 22% and most worryingly, assault has nearly doubled.
We do try and mitigate this growth in crime every single week
We've tried to look at new format designs, lighting, CCTV, alarms, different security measures that keep our team safe.
But those measures often aren't tough enough. Liquor is the most frequently reported stolen item at 37% of all retail thefts.
There is several people now who you see week in, week out who are choosing to leave the retail network due to the rise of crime they have to face.
The national industry body for retail liquor stores is hoping to change the pattern by launching a new initiative.
The Safe to Serve initiative aims to improve safety within the retail liquor sector through education, awareness and advocacy.
A downloadable toolkit has been created for staff and posters have been placed in stores to encourage safe customer behaviour, ensuring liquor stores remain safe, especially during the busy Christmas and summer periods.
People working behind the counter at your local liquor store are regular people just like you and me. They don't deserve to be verbally or physically abused just for doing their job.
Georgia Backledge, 7 News.
A 5-storey apartment block at the Strand is a step closer after council voted unanimously in favour of the development. 7 units, an office space and a food and drink outlet will be built during the first stage of the Oxley Street residence. A further 12 units are expected in the second phase.
The outcome is actually better than the original development application. It called for, I think it was 8 storeys.
Hundreds of jobs are set to be created during construction.
An Indigenous teenager is about to make history after she was accepted into the Qantas pilot training school. CJ Rankin already has 40+ hours of flying time. Now she's hoping to inspire others to follow their dreams.
CJ Rankin feels most at home high above the clouds. The 17-year-old has big dreams to become a commercial pilot.
I had my first flight in Perth. My uncle bought a ticket for me to fly over Rottnest Island and that, and I really enjoyed the first time.
She has already completed 40 hours in a light aircraft, including 7 solo flights since her first flying lesson 2 years ago. Now she'll be moving from Darwin to Toowoomba after accepting a Qantas cadetship at Wellcamp Airport.
I feel proud of my culture and being the first female Indigenous pilot for Qantas, and I just want to inspire younger Indigenous females and also non-Indigenous females as well.
She'll start flight training in April next year for a Diploma of Aviation.
This is a great story and happening right here in Toowoomba. So much opportunity for people to make a great life for themselves. We all know what a great place it is. It's good to see the rest of Australia coming in here and reaping those benefits too.
CJ is already planning where she'll fly her family when she graduates as a commercial pilot in 2025.
Probably along the coast.
Ben Meehan, 7 News.
Such an incredible achievement for someone so young.
Enjoy the journey, CJ. Wow.
Yeah, well done. Okay, let's get into sport. Another sailing title coming here to Townsville now.
It is Brough ahead of her Olympic debut next year. Brianna Whitehead has claimed another national event. This one was at Sail Sydney. We'll have more on that next. And it's now 6 straight wins for the Fire thanks to last night's Steph Reid masterclass.
Stream 7 News anywhere, anytime, live and on demand on 7plus. And with 7news.com.au, you'll know the news now.
And welcome back. Well, we start with news from the Cowboys first, and they're on the hunt for a new NRLW head coach after North Queensland confirmed that Ben Jeffries won't return in 2024. North Queensland's inaugural women's head coach has been released from his contract, effective immediately. In a statement, Cowboys CEO Jeff Ribble thanked Jeffries for his service to the club, including during his time as Elite Pathways coach. There have been reports linking Jeffries to the Newcastle Knights next season. The Townsville Fire's fierce start to the WNBL season rages on after a 28-point thrashing of the Southside Flyers last night. Vice-captain Steph Reid capped off an already big week with a season-best performance.
A 1-point loss to the Flyers in round 2 quickly became a distant memory for our reigning champs.
We've had a bit of success since then, and it was off the back of probably a lot of learnings from that game. I didn't think we competed hard enough in that game. We didn't pressure them.
The same can't be said for this second stanza. Townsville got out to a 16-point lead in the first quarter before extending that to 24 at the main break. They would end up winning 104-77.
Today's probably the best, for 4 quarters, or 3.5 quarters or something like that we've probably played, and spearheaded by the person sitting next to me.
Reid was relentless. Feeling it in front of family and friends, Steph stole the show in Melbourne.
The peak for Reid, who hangs and finishes.
Steph had a lot of injuries and things like that during the off-season, and obviously in the pre-season, and she's just finally starting to overcome some of that and work her way back into form.
It was a masterclass of defensive determination. Her MVP performance was highlighted by 22 points, 3 rebounds and 6 assists.
Obviously, I'm just really excited to feel good playing basketball again. I thought tonight was just really fun, and I think, this team that we have is a team that's going to have fun out there.
And the road trip fun doesn't end there. They're off to Sydney to meet the Flames, who will be looking to make amends from their 40-point embarrassment in Perth on Wednesday.
Nobody comes off a game like that and doesn't come out guns blazing. I mean, there's going to be adjustments, and they're going to come out with a hunger, and we know that.
Emma Halliday, 7 News.
Townsville's top sailor has added another national title to her list. Sail Sydney was one of the next stops on Brianna Whitehead's path to her first Olympic Games next year in Paris.
3 weeks after creating Aussie sailing history, Brianna Whitehead is showing the form that led to that Olympic call-up. The Townsville athlete became the first kite foil sailor to be selected for the Australian Olympic team. It's a new class making its debut at Paris 2024. She may have her ticket, but the work is far from done. It's why she's spent the last 4 days competing at Sail Sydney.
Yeah, I learn a lot. Racing the guys, they push hard, and so it's a lot of work to be in the mix with it.
Botany Bay was the backdrop. The Formula Kite classes got 2 races in before being sent ashore yesterday, and with no reserve day today, it means the Townsville sailor won another national championship.
Cool to be top of the girls' fleet this event, and winning the nationals again.
But what's next in her run to July's Olympics?
So I'm in Australia for another, just for Christmas and that, and then looking at heading over to overseas pretty soon. There's quite a few competitions in the start of the year, so looking to get ready for them and put in my best work.
Emma Halliday, 7 News.
After missing the first day of the Under-19 Cricket Nationals due to Queensland fire commitments, Townsville's Sienna Ginger was back in Brisbane leading the Maroons today to another win. Their match against Victoria Metro was the Maroons' toughest yet though. Ginger made a vital 21 as Queensland brought up the winning runs with 3 balls to go. Back home, and the wait is on to see if the weather will play nice for tomorrow's action. Norths are out for redemption in the final round before the Christmas break when they face Brothers. Meanwhile, the bottom 2 teams will battle it out with Wanderers against Suburban Parks. Now, play is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. I think I'll still be sleeping at that time tomorrow because it's holiday time, guys. Just want to wish everyone at home Merry Christmas. Have the best time over Christmas, New Year's for both of you as well, Emily and Brough, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, enjoy the break, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
We'll stick with us after the break. Livio has all the weekend weather details.
Good evening, Livio, Regano with tonight's weather. A severe weather warning for heavy rainfall continues across far north Queensland after another extremely wet day from the Daintree all the way to the Herbert. Rain hopefully easing this weekend as ex-Jasper sails into the Gulf. 91 millimetres of rain at Wallerman overnight. We had 69 mils at White Crystal. Palumba Dam had 58. Hawkins Creek 33 and Annandale near Townsville had 20 mils. Temperatures were once again rain affected, humidity greater than 80%, not too hot by day but very warm at night with only 4 to 6 degrees difference between max and min. On the satellite loop now, you can see that just because a cyclone dies doesn't mean it's not capable of producing heavy rain. It's an intense monsoonal low and it's very slow moving, so we've had another night of almost as much rain as just after the cyclone crossing. This system will continue to drift very slowly, eventually moving into the Gulf of Carpentaria, unlikely to re-intensify into a cyclone, but not impossible. Today's chart, you can see the lows positioned right over Cape York Peninsula, almost anchored there, but it's got a slight west-northwesterly movement. Meanwhile, this inland trough is starting to channel heat and moisture from the tropics right down into the southeast, firing up severe thunderstorms, as well as making conditions very, very hot and humid. And then on the outlook chart, or tomorrow I should say, the trough gets a little bit closer. This is probably the most potent day for severe thunderstorms right over central and southeasterly Queensland. Extremely hot inland, just humid near the coast. Still raining around North Queensland. On the outlook chart, rain starts to ease in North Queensland and the storms and humidity continue in the south. Now the latest from BOM, the boating forecast for Townsville waters, northeasterly winds up to 20 knots tomorrow, down to 10 to 15 knots for Sunday, and then east-northeasterly for Monday. We're experiencing the exaggerated swing of the spring tide, even though it's 2 days since the peak, so beware of stronger than normal currents between high and low tide. The Herbert and Lower Burdekin, a cloudy, rainy day. You don't get those very often. Townsville 24 to 29 degrees, Ayr 27, Ingham 28. Northern Goldfields and Upper Flinders, heavy rain and storms mainly in the north. Charters Towers reaching 28 degrees under cloud and Georgetown 29. Looking ahead for Townsville, rain should be pretty much gone by Monday, followed by several days of classic tropical weather, days in the 30s, nights in the 20s and perpetually high humidity. And that's another week done and dusted. Goodness me, only one more until Christmas. Have a sensational weekend. Drink plenty of water because it's going to be a warm one, that's for sure. I'm signing off for 2023. See you next year. Now it's back to the team.
Yeah, good on you, Liv. Thank you very much. And enjoy your holidays, won't you, mate? Have a nice weekend. We'll see you Monday.
A reminder, you can watch a replay of 7 News on 7plus and catch up on our page at 7news.com.au. From all of us, good night.
Good night.